What's going on, people? Flick here, coming at you from the Flick edition. The topic of today's video is one that I feel personally that it affects a lot of people, men in particular, and it is definitely a topic that sits close to my heart. It's a topic that needs to be discussed, and I believe that it's not discussed enough, and it needs more awareness, and that is men's health. Not just men's physical health, but men's mental health. In today's video, I have a special guest helping me out with this topic, and that is my good friend Aaron. He's been kind enough to share his ups and downs through his mental health and other issues that he's hoping to help raise awareness to other men that might be afraid to talk about things or that might be afraid to reach out for help. So if any of you out there, whether you're male or female, but in particular male, if you are afraid to reach out for help or talk about feelings or anything like that, I'm hoping that this video will give you the courage to look into yourself and realise that it's okay to talk about things and that it's okay to talk about your feelings and the struggles that you may be going through. Also, throughout today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some different ways that you could look at bettering yourself and helping yourself through these tough times. Whether it's internal or external, there are small little things that a lot of people tend to overlook, or a lot of people are under the impression that it's not a big deal or that it's not important, when in fact it really, really is. So if you're interested in any of what I've just talked about, stay tuned and follow Aaron and I as we take on today with a whole new outlook. Hey Aaron, and thank you for being here and doing this with me today.
Welcome, happy to be here.
First of all, could you tell everyone what mental health issues you are dealing with and how long you've had them for, roughly?
Well, I'd say at the moment there's depression, anxiety. I have a few eating issues, a lot of self-image issues, self-respect issues. But for the main one, depression, that's been for as long as I can remember. And the second biggest anxiety wasn't until I was about a teenager.
And what would you say has made you decide to open up publicly about what you're going through?
I've decided to open up because anxiety and depression isn't something only a few people go through. I find as I've gotten older that pretty much every single person I've ever known or met has had depression or anxiety at some point in their life. And to keep it to myself, one, doesn't help me, and two, can't help anybody else. So to talk about it for everybody to see, as long as it can help a couple of people, that's what makes all of it worth it.
In your opinion, how has society portrayed people and men to be when it comes to mental health, and how would you change the stigma?
I think society in general thinks that having mental health issues makes you inherently weak, which couldn't be further from the truth. Somebody that has never had to deal with anxiety or depression has never had to find that inner strength to fight it and overcome it. There's the whole stigma that if you need to seek professional help or you're struggling with something, that you're not man enough and that you're not a strong enough person. And I feel that anybody that tries to bring you down for wanting to find help or even talking about your issues, that they're the weak people. They're the ones that can't even confront somebody else having an issue, let alone them having to deal with it. Being a real man is acknowledging your own emotions and having the strength to deal with them and really look at yourself in the mirror. Accept support. Be open and honest with how you feel, good or bad.
When was your turning point for yourself to start to take a step and make a change in a positive way for yourself?
I feel like that's come in certain stages in my life, not just one particular event. One of the earliest times I can remember really trying to figure out what I was feeling and how to deal with it was, I think I was about 14. Just having a really rough trot, and I spoke to my really close friend Flick. She helped me with a lot of things during that point in my life, simply because I didn't know what depression or anxiety was, and I think it's one of the hardest things to deal with your emotions when you don't even know the word to call them. And I would say the most recent point in my life was with my other good friend and current housemate, Kiralee. She had a very uncomfortable conversation for the both of us, but it was something that was needed and something that hit me very deep. I realised I couldn't keep going the way that I was, or else I would just self-destruct. I'm very thankful to have Flick helped me in my past, currently still helping me, and Kiralee helping me, and every friend that I've ever talked to about my feelings that's accepted me for how I am, who I am, and generally wants me to be better and happy.
In the past, what was your feelings about seeing a counsellor or a psychologist or something like that compared to your thoughts on that now?
The first time it was offered to me to see a counsellor, or as my mum put it, someone to talk to, I was just like, no, that's terrifying, and why would I talk to somebody I don't know about things that impact my life extremely? It was scary. At the time, I felt like it would make me more weak than I already was to talk to somebody. That I couldn't man up and deal with my issues like I'd been made to feel at that point in time. I was only 14. I was still figuring out what it was to be a man. I still am sometimes. So now that I have been seeing a professional psychologist for about 2 months now, maybe 3. Time actually flies when you're seeing somebody, by the way. Now I feel like it's helped me a lot. I'm much more able to understand what I'm feeling. I feel a lot stronger. I still have bad days, of course. You can never really outrun that. But I feel like I'm capable of so much more than I was beforehand. That certain issues that would have made me feel like my life was coming to an end, I now just take with stride, and I can work around roadblocks that just ruined my day. You're not weak to see somebody. You're strong to recognize that you have an issue and stand up to the challenge of facing it. Because that, in my personal experience, is the hardest thing to do in life.
What's some advice, big or small, that you can give to other men who may feel like they have no one or don't know how or what to do?
For me personally, listening to music is a big thing. I like to think, a broad variety of music I listen to, which helps me in any and all situations. I find if I'm really angry, I'll listen to really angry music, but not in a way that keeps me angry or makes me angrier. More of a release of emotions. Because if I'm angry, the first thing I want to do is punch a wall. But if I'm listening to music where the drums feel like my heartbeat, the screaming feels like talking I can't do to anybody else, by the time I'm done listening to it, I feel a lot better. I go for walks. I try to go for a walk at least once every day, even if it's just around the block. I find that helps a lot. But I think one of the biggest things is reaching out to people, talking to somebody about how you're feeling, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, psychologist, even if it's just a helpline. Reaching out to people is much better than keeping it in, because if you keep it in for too long, you can feel like you're drowning in yourself, unable to breathe, unable to get out, unable to find dry land. Reaching out to somebody to help pull you back, probably my best advice that I can give.
So would you say that it's important to recognise and take in stride and look at the little things in life, whether it's music, going for a walk, changing your clothes, changing your hair, anything like that? Would you say that's important?
Absolutely. I find there are a few major things in life, but the rest of life is made of little things. And it's like if a whole bunch of little things go wrong, it feels like one giant, bad, big thing. But if you can focus on the little things, the smallest of things, really the most, they can make one really big, shining, great thing. I find recently, like part of today, I've been feeling self-conscious about my looks in a way that I feel when I go out to see friends, I'm disgusting and I wouldn't want to be seen with me. And I asked for Flick's help to just hang out, look at some clothes, something that seems a bit more me now compared to me then, before working on myself. And after trying on a lot of the clothes today, I feel like I look really good in those clothes. And when I think I look good, I feel a lot better about myself. And it makes it that little bit easier to deal with the big bad things.
Thank you very much, Aaron, for coming and opening up and being so honest and raw and sharing your ups and downs with everyone. I really, really appreciate it, and I'm sure there's many other people out there that do as well. And I commend you for being brave and speaking up and publicly about it. And I wish you all the best. And so now let's jump to your before and after photos and some footage of going clothes shopping.
All right, come in. Give us a spin. Yes, go Aaron.
I love that.
Give us a catwalk.
Damn, girl. Yes, love it.